Hi there. Time for another conversation about art while I make some art. And what am I doing today? Oh, by the way, Jerzy Drozd, cartoonist and teaching artist. Links are right above me. I am going to work on a character design. I had it in mind, and I hinted at this last week, that I was going to do something that was, where was I doing? Bear. Been working on a test of some painting. Here we go. So this was a drawing that I did in ink a week or so ago, and I did this little test where I imported, and this was an idea of my wife's. Anne suggested this. We made these watercolor palettes based on that little watercolor kit that I use on some of my live streams, little travel kit, 12 pans. And so I put together this palette with it, and so I imported it into Clip Studio's, the sub view menu. And so I used this as my color palette to use the Friendin watercolor brushes to paint this. So my next step, having done that test, was going to be to try painting the actual analog ink drawing on watercolor paper to see what differences happen. Is there any difference in how much time it took? This took me about 2 hours to do. So didn't have the bandwidth to set up. I was running a little late today. So instead, flexibility is the name of the game. And I decided to take some character designs that I've been working on in my sketchbook and test out some of the inking tools that I might want to use. Because Ray Friendin has... let's reduce this window size a little bit, shall we? My goodness. Come on. There we go. So Ray Friendin has these great dry brush inking tools I'm gonna give a swing at today. I'm gonna change my image resolution. See how big this is. No, it doesn't need to be that. Let's just work with it as is. It's fine. So I'm gonna make a vector layer above this sketch. I'm going to adjust the levels on this sketch real quick. Level correction. So bump up the whites, darken the darks a little bit. Not darken the darks that much. There we go. And I'm just going to make this blue. And reduce its opacity, make another layer behind it to fill it with white. There we go. Now I can start inking. To see the difference between painting one drawing two ways. Yeah, I'm hopeful. I did this recently with another painting test that I did, and I actually posted to my Patreon. I did sort of a side-by-side of analog paints versus digital paints. And the I am not going to blame this on the Ray Friendin brushes. They're really good. They're like astonishingly convincing. But I think my color choices were weird because I was dealing with the infinite color choices of the digital color palette. And that's when, and I was talking about it with Anne, she said, well, why don't you take your analog palette and import it in and use that? And as a matter of fact, it's like, if you look, there's so many colors in each of these colors. Like as I'm just tapping this one, you can see over on the left, my color wheel, it's moving around quite a bit just in one little block of quote-unquote color. So the hypothesis was it would give me a more natural look to the paints. And I feel like it did for the most part. Okay. But more on that in some future streams. But yeah, Rachel, if you want to check it out on the Patreon page, I should also post it in the Lena to Art Discord. So this brush that Ray Friendin made, it really kind of has some of the same texture that I get when I ink on watercolor paper. And the thing that gets me excited is it's a vector. So I can go, look at that. I can move the lines around later if I want to and preserve all that wonderful texture. So that's one of the reasons I want to work with it. getting the hang of what to expect from the pressure on this. That's another thing I haven't done is I haven't like really messed with the individual brush pressure settings. You'll notice that my overhead cam is gone today because I'm having trouble with some of my NDI sources. I have a little bit more of a rounded nose. So the idea, what I'm trying to do here, or rather what I'm exploring, is what I learned, like applying what I learned doing the Baron von Bear pitch last 2 years ago. Was it last year? I think it was 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. Try to take what I learned from that in terms of like finding new efficiencies and speeding up the flow and learning to trust myself more as an artist, that what I've got is serviceable. That I don't need to overwork it for it to be good. And apply it to the Amazon Academy comic, which is what this is a design for. Fast and loose. Reason why is I was discovering that some of those Amazon Academy pages were taking me 15 hours to draw, and I'm like, that's just unsustainable. Even if we got a publisher, even if I was getting an advance in this, I can't. There's no way I'd get the book done in any amount of time at that rate. I need to trim down the time cost of these pages. Oh, come on, pen. So the goal here is to hopefully have a finished ink and color drawing in less than an hour. Yeah, I went for a walk this morning, and it's the same thing in Columbus, where it is all of the accumulation we got over the last several days, which got packed down into like a big block of ice on all the sidewalks and roads, is now getting rained on. So you got this layer of slush on top of like 2 inches of ice. Stay safe, everybody. Got a weird tangent going on there. this outfit I was doing when I was sketching. I had Pinterest open, and I just had a search for tween girl fashion. Um, and this was like this really like cute and pretty lacy shirt this kid was wearing, and I was like, okay, it looks like a pain to draw, so how can I simplify it? Maybe the rain will make the sidewalks usable. They were ice plains yesterday. Yeah. It was not easy going for walks. And I kind of wanted to go to a park today, and I'm just like thinking like, oh my gosh, there's going to be all mud. All right. I did 5 miles wandering around my house over and over. Oh, that's where we're at now. I know we're all feeling this right now. This weird isolation and like a cabin fever, claustrophobia. I'm feeling it more lately than usual. I think February, the fact that it's February isn't helping because like this is also a time of year where we get that kind of like itch to go, like we feel like spring is right around the corner. We can start getting really excited about all the outdoor stuff we want to do, but it's just far enough away. There we go, like that. Hmm. This brush doesn't want a corner as well as an analog brush. I mean, like making a cornered line. Look at how it rounds that. Oh, that's a little better. See if I can get that going on there because I really like the way that line looked. Oh, there we go. No, that's not it. Don't overwork it, Jerzy. Okay, I won't. In years past, there was a pancake breakfast every weekend in March to look forward to, but that's gone this year. That sucks. That sucks that it's gone. I'm really sorry to hear that. feel like there's going to be a lot of that kind of grief in addition to the human grief. Just a lot of grief over the next year. A lot of pain to reconcile and reckon with. Oh. Okay. So we got our inks. I'm going to move them up because they're kind of not in a really great place on the page. Nope. Come on, inks. You know what I haven't done? I haven't saved. I'm going to do that. If I can make it to March, I get pancakes and winter is practically over. Wrong folder. Comics. Amazon Academy. Character designs. Okay, there's our digital bros. Well, see you, Rachel. Thanks for stopping by. All right, let's make a new flats layer. And I just happen to have an Amazon Academy color palette, which I may not stick to, but let's see how it works. All right, paint bucket, refer other layers, referring to the reference layer. Set the area scaling down to 2. Whoop. All right. Nope, I think her eyebrows are going to be black. All right, so what color is this going to be? This is going to be now this part of the shirt is vaguely diaphanous, so I'm going to choose just like a there we go. All right, let's do the jeans. And then I'm going to do something funny with the boots. I'm going to try to at least. A cool thing that you can do in Clip Studio where, like, if you click with your um, paint bucket and just drag, it'll just fill anything that's the similar color to whatever you first touched with the paint bucket and fill it in with that color. So you have to, like, just continually tap over everything. All right, gray. And the boots. You know what I forgot? I forgot to put the other little strappy bit. Isn't the piece hanging down there? All right. And now I'm just going to fill in the rest with white. So then I can take my... So if I turn this off, turn off my line art layer, you're going to see that the flats have a bunch of blank spots, like transparent spots where the fills weren't completed. So I'm going to go here with my correct line width and just drag it over top. And it'll close up all those holes for me. Turn my line art back on. And I'm going to go ahead and select my white. Everything. Let's quick mask it to find out. Yep. And delete. Whoops. Undo. Leave quick mask first, then hit delete. There. Now I should have transparent pixels around her. I do. All right. Save. Oh, it has not been broadcasting the changes. You know, I might have to just call this one a wash. My NDI plugins have been acting super strange. It hasn't been broadcasting any of the updates I've been making to the art. So let me go to that real quick and try to figure out what the problem is here. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with it, but I'm going to have to do some research on my NDI plugins. I'm not going to be able to do streaming without being able to capture my screen like this. Quit out of OBS on my other machine. Launch it again. There we go. Yeah. It is not working. You know, I'm going to have to call this one off a little early. How long have I been going? Like only 25 minutes. That's a bummer. Because another thing for it would be for me to, like, shut off the stream anyway and reboot my OBS. So I'll tell you what, for those of you who are still watching, I'm going to be back on Thursday. See if I can get all my NDI stuff working properly. 10 a.m. And Eastern time, 10 a.m. Eastern time. And that's at live.jdrozd.com or wherever you're watching it right now. And I'll try to figure out a way to do this so that I don't have to depend so much on my NDI plugins working. All right. Thanks, everybody. Sorry about that. I'll see you hopefully on Thursday.